So what's on tap for today, Master Silva?
What's on tap for today is, I like to keep this meeting just more about Rainmaker than just business overall. Um, I'm not sure if Kemp's got things that he would like to talk about or Dave would like to talk about on utilizing Rainmaker. Um, I know you started the path over again.
Yeah, we're gonna do that. And it gets better every time because Rainmaker adds things get easier to do. But tomorrow, and it's actually probably gonna be a little later in the day. It's normally right at 9 Central. Tomorrow, we're going to talk about creating the right kind of profit generators in order to get those free trials or paid trials or whatever. I think a lot of times people are not comfortable utilizing profit generators. It looks like it's a big wall in their way, so they just don't, or they don't set them up optimally. I mean, the difference in checkout optimization is huge. It's a big deal. Amazon pays attention to their checkout optimization. Every online type retailer, that checkout page is so important because it has to build trust and it has to make sure that there's a science to checkout pages, and Rainmaker does a really good job of allowing you to harness that science. But I think a lot of people don't use it, or they focus on the wrong things. I hear a lot of people say, should I have, is it harming me that I don't have a really pretty header up top? And no. Like, have you seen Amazon's header in their checkout page? There's no header. It's just, here's what you're going to get. Click to buy. Like, all you got to do is click,
Yep.
So, there's a lot of distraction, I think, that it's hard for us to put ourselves in the client's shoes.
What do you I mean, in addition to like a trial program, what else do you suggest using the profit generators for, as far as like with your present students, maybe?
So we use them a lot for day camps, and we have our Valentine Parents Night Out coming up. We use them a lot for deposits. So let's say that I have an event and I don't necessarily want to collect all the cash now. I want people to check in. Like, for example, I do deposits on Valentine's Parents Night Out. It's $25. That's it. We used to do 40, and now it's 25, so that literally no one can complain. So that if someone complains about the price, the person next to him is like, "Are you serious? It's 3 hours and pizza. Have you ever hired a babysitter before?" But we have them pay a $5 deposit so that they have to stop in at the front desk and pay. So we don't get people pulling up, letting little Timmy out, and then bailing without checking them in. Because we know that happens, right? I used to have that happen all the time before having, people would pay in advance, and they're not trying to take advantage. They're just thinking, oh, I paid. I trust this place. I trust Mr. William. Here you go. There's my kid. And then kids don't get signed in, which means that we're not able to verify with the parents. Make sure you pick them up by 9, and then the parent thought it was 9:30, and then So we do that also with summer camp. I don't want to collect all the summer camp money right then and there. Whether they want to pay for it or not, for a couple of reasons. First of all, I want that income later on. And second of all, I want to make sure that person really actually wanted to be at my summer camp. It's really easy to say we don't do a refund on a $10 deposit. It's a little harder to look somebody in the face and say we're not going to refund $150 or $180 or $249. People are real proud of how expensive their camps are nowadays.
I know that's one of the things that a few of the people I talked to just personally were talking about, as far as February usually seems to be a real good month for summer camps. Parents are knowing that summer's coming up. They want to make sure their kids get into the best camp. So I know there's a lot of interest in that.
Yeah, we hit it hard February and March, of course, but we actually last year, and I was nervous about it, but we went ahead and did it anyway, and it worked out totally fine. 2018, we had our early bird pricing end March 31st or 30th or whatever, the end of March 31st. This year we bumped it to February, and we did not see any the end of the early pricing and into kind of like regular-ish pricing. It's still not as expensive as, list price, but I think we went from 159 or 189 to 219. But we moved that 30 days earlier. We didn't see any drop in sign-up rates. So that's one of the things we use Profit Generator for, is we say, this page will expire on February 28th, until like the countdown numbers are like, you can count down either when these spaces are filled, or when on February 28th, this page will close down. And then nowadays, RainMaker has this super cool thing that on the sold out page, you can put a link to the next price point or another event. Or let's say you're sold out of all your parents' night out and it says sold out. Well, you can put a link, sign up for the next one. Sign up for March's parents' night out, which that was my idea. Thank you very much. But, and this is also how, like, people think that software companies should be able to implement something right away. I told that to Scott in, I think, 2017, and he was like, holy crap, why don't we have that? And it took like a year and a half to get it done because it has to be right. So that's why I think sometimes people are irritated that software companies don't move super fast. How long do you think Apple tests the iPhone 11 before they put it out? You think it was really 6 months before? Heck no,
Mm-hmm.
They've had that thing on lockdown, like alien technology. They had it on lockdown 5 years ago, making sure that everything worked right before they put it out to the public. So same thing here.
Are you going to go over on promoting? So we have your checkout page or your profit generator to do your deposits. How to get the most out of your marketing? Do you recommend more email marketing campaign?
Well, if it's internal, yeah, definitely email. And some people don't have a problem with text campaigns. I don't really love text campaigns because we use texts in order to get people in for that intro. If they're doing it, if we're talking about intros, I don't really use text to get people to be aware of upcoming events, because I want them to know that our texts are really only for emergencies. Tornado, like we use it in springtime for tornado alerts and like summertime for tornado alerts. Like, we really only use it for emergencies, but we do use email a lot. We use our Facebook page for upcoming events. But our members are pretty plugged into their email because we send email updates every Monday like clockwork, no matter what. And they're very straightforward. It's not a big block of text. It says in this email, and it says bullet point, bullet point, bullet point. So if I don't see anything that says kickboxing, I don't need to read it because I'm a kickboxer. If I don't see anything that says parkour, I don't need to read it because I'm not you know what I'm saying? So because we try to respect their email inbox sanctity on a regular basis, when we do have an event, they pay attention to it. Usually, and of course, while I'm not a fan of flyers and print media for external marketing, there's nothing like putting a card in a kid's hand for internal marketing. They run over to their parents and say, look, we got to come to this, Mom.
Mm-hmm. This is getting off subject a little, but I think it was really important because you start talking about email and text. Someone had posted something last week early about getting 600% better results by responding to a lead with a text over than emails are trying to call. So last Wednesday when you were gone, we talked about sending out like a text campaign the day you get it and a couple after. I put a couple up there. Then you put one of your favorites up there also.
Yeah. We do respond with a text when they fill out that web form. I think you have to be careful. You have to be careful. Numbers can tell whatever you want them to say, right? So you do have to be careful, I think, with percentages and things like that, because let's say I'm Banana Republic. I'm a retailer, and I run a Facebook ad that says text this number for 40%, one-time 40% off coupon. Versus I say put your email in for a one-time 40% off coupon. I might have 600% better text. But that might not apply necessarily to our industry. I mean, maybe it was, but also I think sometimes we have people who do not have a large enough sample size. If you sign up 10 students a month, you do not have a large enough sample size to really actually tell what's working best. If you send a series of emails, let's say somebody opts in and you send them one email a week for a year, you're not all that likely to get an unsubscribe if they're interested. You send them one text a week for a year, you're going to get an unsubscribe pretty darn fast if they're not ready to sign up right then.
Yeah, without
yeah. So you got to think about how you want that to happen. So when they commit to a trial, I definitely do send them pretty copious texts, especially like, for example, our kickboxers are on a 2-week unlimited trial.
Mm-hmm.
We schedule them into every class, and it sends them a text. RainMaker automatically sends them a text the day before and the day of. Hey, kickboxing tomorrow. Hey, kickboxing today, and it just hammers them because I know if they just show up to every one of those trial classes, they're very likely to sign up. You know what I mean?
Gotcha.
So, and they don't mind being hammered because they paid $20. Like they paid $20 to be hammered with texts, as opposed to not paying anything and not wanting any text messages sent to their phone. You know what I'm saying? But like a reply, hey, we got your information, and a team member will call you as soon as possible. I think that's very courteous, you know?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But profit generators, we will go over tomorrow. This specifically, the profit generators we'll go over tomorrow will be for bringing somebody into being a member, being a trial, you know, however you're using trials. We'll definitely go over later in the year more profit generators that are used for, you know, internal marketing. Probably beginning of March, we'll go over profit generators for like summer camp and things like that, because those are a little complicated, but they really do work really, really well.
Since you mentioned the parents night out for Valentine's Day, what are you doing for yours?
We do 3 hours, 6 to 9. We feed a pizza, play games, watch a movie. You know, we have not had a whole lot of success with parents night outs. In terms of like getting lots of kids to them, you know, we have if we have an in-school tournament or an in-school competition or something, you know, we'll get 50% participation and we'll have 100 kids running around the floor. Our parents' night outs, not as much for a couple of reasons. I think it's because we only allow kids 6 and up, and we have a whole lot of kids who are 4 and 5 in our after-school program and in our other programs. Mm-hmm. I don't want a 5-year-old at 8:30 p.m. And also because there's a lot to do. We're in a pretty urban area. There are other things to do on a Friday night. I feel like there's more access. When we were in our small town, Stillwater, if we had a parents' night out, boy, it seemed like we were in the county seat. So it seemed like people came from Perkins, Oklahoma, just to come to the parents' night out because it was the only thing that was going on. There was nothing there for kids, you know. Right. So it was really neat. It was like novel. It was cool. People were like, "Oh my God, I can't believe you're doing this." I feel like people here are a little more like, yeah, no, we're not coming to your place. Like I know full well my kid's gonna love it and they're gonna want to sign up, and I'm not dealing with that today. Mm-hmm. You know, so
Dave and I were talking about his events. He's been doing a lot of events. Last weekend he did his 2020 party. So one of the ideas I gave out was doing a 2020 party to get anyone who got distracted during the holidays, getting them back in January. So he did a raffle throughout the holidays, and the raffle, the kids earned tickets. Then he gave away electric go-kart last weekend. He also
saw that thing the other day.
Yeah, he also brought in a magician who put up like a big stage and everything. He did a live thing from it. So he's really been promoting him. I think he's a little, not discouraged, but still kind of waiting for more momentum for new enrollments.
I think the one thing that I would say I think helped us with that was the wording as far as when we sold, you know, we charged because we wanted to raffle off that go-kart, you know, to try to, you know, recoup some of that because it didn't pan out so good as a referral prize. However, we worded it where like, okay, one paid or however, one paid ticket included 2 guests. Mm-hmm. And I think by that wording in there, we had, I think, six of the kids bring in 2 guests.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Because it seemed like it was a better deal than just bring a buddy.
Yep.
Right.
I think. But that was, you know, that was the most guests that we've had brought in for any P&O or anything at this point.
Yeah, we had that. We at one point did something like that where we had, you know, you can bring a friend. Your $25 includes bringing a friend. We had to explain to a lot of people how they're going to have to work that out with the other family, though. Like, look, like, I'm not charging you $17.50 and them $17.50 when they get in here. Like, I don't know, So how did you and Mr. Silva, do you have any ideas? How did you deal with not having the parent of those two kids available to attempt to convince them to sign up or get a trial or whatever?
Dave, did any of those 12 kids that were guests bring in their parents?
Yeah, they did. All of them.
Oh, okay. Did you record? Were you clear that you required that?
Probably not as clear as I should be, but we lucked out, and I was able to collect the full information sheet from every one of them.
Yeah.
But we usually say that, yeah, the parents have to come in, but you know how that goes. But this time it did, so.
Yeah, so you probably could do one or two things. They're going to have to do some type of waiver. I mean, waiver, not that they're going to get killed in class, but just a waiver that gives the information for emergency contact. I mean, that's what you really want. Yeah.
Well, and I'll tell you, have you guys been to any of these places that are like pretty birthday party centric? We have an Urban Air and we have a Sky Zone. I don't know. I know that those are national franchises
down here.
Yeah. So you can't even go to the counter unless you filled out the waiver on the computer. Right. And it's $8 an hour, 16-year-olds who don't give two craps about you. And they're like, "Just sign the waiver." And you're like, no. Over there, sign the waiver. And I'm like, all right. Thank you. I didn't mean to wait in a 15-minute line to get yelled at, but I will go over here and sign the waiver. No problem. Yeah. Right. So you have to fill all of this information out before you do anything. And it's understandable. Like, I understand that completely. I'm not going to expect to have my kid in there without that. So I do think that it is not unreasonable for us to expect someone to show up and sign a waiver in person before their kid goes to a random place. And honestly, like, I'm not sending my kid to a random place I've never been before. I mean, maybe I guess I would trust my kids' friends' parents, maybe. I guess that's true.
No, I totally agree. If I was going to bring my grandkids someplace, I'm not going to just drive them off on the curb or drop them off on the curb. I want to go in and see what it's like. And I did go to Urban Air, and I was totally surprised, same thing, because I waited in line. When I got to the head of the line, the guy goes, "Did you fill out the waiver?" And they have two computers set up, and you got to do it yourself. I mean, no one's there to explain or anything. You just got to figure it out. So.
And from a customer service standpoint, all they would have had to do was every once in a while holler, "If you haven't filled out the waiver, make sure you fill out the waiver before you get in the line. Everybody got it? All right." And then go back to that's all they would have had to do. Yep. And if we can teach employees to yell, "Welcome to Quick Trip" or "Welcome to Chick-fil-A" or whatever every time somebody comes in the door. You've been to those places where you'd be like literally talking to someone and the worker literally goes, "Welcome to Chickadees," and then it comes back to your face, right? And you're like, "Oh, okay." Like, if they can train that, they can train the other. We had a decent experience at Urban Air because my kids did a reading challenge, and that was like a family's thing. Like, we can go to Urban Air, and then we had a birthday party. And I got to tell you, the mom who did the birthday party was not a happy camper. There was nobody there. They didn't know what to do. All the guests were asking her. Like, on the little ticket, it said, "Take this to your party host." And I'm like, "Oh, Olivia's mom, are you the party host?" And she's like, "Yeah, but I don't know what to do with these tickets everybody's handing me." You know what I mean? So it was definitely cattle, pack them in. And if people are willing to do that, then at a local business, I think they're willing to sign the waiver. You just have to make it clear. Not that I have the easy answer to that, but yeah.
Very cool.
I do. So we do pizza. We do 3 hours. We do pizza. We do all of our summer camp type games, whether it be dodgeball or jump rope or whatever. We try to do the most interactive games possible. We let them play on our parkour equipment a little bit. We eat pizza we pretty much get everybody there, order the pizza at like 6:15. It gets there by 7:15. And after pizza, by 7:30, 7:45, we start a movie in our black mat room. Mm-hmm. And then there's some kids that just can't sit still, and they'll either be in the activity room or out on the big mat doing like playing on our equipment. And then we let kids watch a movie literally from 7:30 to 9, because we never do screens at our place other than at those times.
Mhm.
And, the movie's usually just ending right as parents are picking up at like 8:50, 8:55, and makes it easy to transition kids away. We made that mistake a long time ago. We'd start the movie at like 8:15, and then you're like in the climax of the movie as the parents are picking up, and then you have a 6-year-old who isn't used to being up at 9 p.m. and they're like throwing a fit. So we've gotten better at that.
When I was talking to clients yesterday, I kind of suggested they go to Party City. They have a whole aisle of just Valentine's themed party stuff.
Okay.
Last year, I know we did at the school. We got Valentine's Day sunglasses that just look like two hearts.
Yeah.
Really cheap.
Do
So
you have those there? Are they there now?
I don't know, just get online, but it was just things like that. We did a media wall with balloons. I had helium balloons look like hearts, and we did a media wall. All the kids took their pictures. I had parents volunteer to make red and white heart-shaped cupcakes. So try to theme it out. You always get moms that want to help on something like that. You usually get that at the 18th. In fact, if they don't get asked to volunteer, they get a little upset.
Yep.
So.
Yep. And they're willing to pay and volunteer.
Right.
Pay and be there. Yeah.
I was talking. Yeah, exactly. I was talking to Dalton yesterday. I said, even if he just had those sunglasses that look like hearts just for himself announcing the party in class, I mean, you can put in your profit generator things and this like that, but it's how excited the instructors get about talking about the event, people at the front counter, how this is, I mean, that's what really sells the parents' night out.
Yep.
That's why some people get 60 to 80 people and some people get 4 or 5.
Yep. And we also, I think that the structure of the event itself is really vital in order for instructors to not be burnt out on those things. Because if you will just take a blank sheet of paper and write 6 p.m. or actually write 5:45, then write 6 p.m., then 6:15, 6:30, 6:45, 7, and you just write it in 15-minute blocks and figure out what you're going to do, like that is life-changing if you've never done that before.
Exactly.
They like so many instructors like I used to just show up. Okay, what are we going to do? You play one game, then you play another, and then the kids are so ready to go, and you're like, oh, crap, what do we do now? You know what I mean? Yeah. Having some guidelines, like, for example, at our parents' night out, no one gets out of their chair until we are done eating. Like, you know what I mean? So, like, no, we're not playing games, things like that. So, and I know you guys have rules, but just think it through. If you have not had good experiences, think it through, and then try it again.
And just Google Valentine's birthday or parties. I mean, last year someone suggested, and I think I found this on ST or something like that, where I got bean bags that looked like hearts. And so we did dodgeball and everything with these bean bags that look like hearts. It was just, when parents come, it looks like you're not just a karate guy trying to get people in for $25, but you're really planning the party and you're doing something special for the kids, and the kids are having a great time, and they've got reason to take pictures and post them online and things like that. So,
well, the other thing that you could do, if you were so inclined, and it would not take you very much time, is you could create a survey in RainMaker Survey Pro. You could tag every kid who checks in, have them check in on the iPad, or just check in even like for class or whatever. Tag all those people and then send them all a survey that said, hey, how would you rate the event, and give them opportunities to tell, what they thought of the event. And then one mom that says, oh my gosh, it was so amazing. It was so great. We got, $25 and we got to go out for the first time in 3 years. And then when we got there, our kid didn't even want to leave and we had to drag him away. It was amazing, right? Then that is now a quote for next year's profit generator. Right. Mary S. says she had to drag her kid away because it was so much fun. It was the first time that they had gone out in 3 years. And what will you say? Those things, we're all in it for the long haul. None of you guys are planning on shutting up shop in 12 months. So think of what quotes you're going to have from that, and maybe you get some feedback, right? Maybe you say, everybody needs it to last until 9:15. You get 5 people that said, man, we couldn't get back there until 9:15. Could you start it earlier, or could you end it later, or something like that? Maybe you get real feedback.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
Yeah. Cool. And that's Survey Pro. It's right there, Rainmaker. Messages, Survey Pro. And you can create all the surveys you want. We use them all the time. It is super, super helpful. You should use it. You should use it consistently because people will fill out a survey. And then you can tag people. Let's say they said, yes, I liked it. You can tag them and say, hey, thank you so much for your response. Would you be willing to post that on Facebook? Here's a link to Facebook. Or you can tag them if they said, no, they did not have, they had a struggle, they didn't like it. You can tag that. It'll automatically tag it, and it'll send you a task to your desktop that says, hey, call Sally Jones' dad. He's mad about the parents' night out. You know, you wouldn't know that had you not sent that out.
Excellent.
Yeah. Cool, guys.
All right. Thank you very much.
See you later.
Guys, have a good week. Shovel snow. Get some exercise. Take care, but thanks.